Yo, my name is Dini-Mussolini. I am the grand host and creator of Skeptix. This is a show that's all about honesty, redemption, and transparency. Different co-hosts will frequent these episodes and guest star with me to tell their perspectives and their opinions. We are just saying that we're skeptical of the government, of religion, rumors, skeptical of people, and skeptical of the handshake. So, yo, this is a judge-free environment. Well, don't quote me on that. Anyway, here we go.
Yeah, into the rabbit hole. Shit, where all the rabbits go. It's going down in this bitch. Hold up. To the rabbit hole, where all the rabbits go. It's going down. If I told you heaven was underneath you, would you go? What if your demons was the realest niggas that you know? Maintain control as they override your rational mind. It's big homie harm, my job is to end these niggas' time. Let's shift this paradigm. Went from swimming with the fish to bearing water and wine. Draped up and dripped out with all this knowledge of mine. My world is chaos, 3 times we live in far from divine. Peep how my implicate and explicate is so intertwined. I'm blind in a minefield, just feeling my way around. Destruction under my feet, yet I'm dependent on the ground. This American dream just don't fit on me. That's why I had to shoot them one to let them know it ain't sweet. See, they blind to the facts, delirious, and you should tell them. They got us twisted, we rearranging cerebellums. They missing the setup, this transition game crucial. Information applied, bringing forth something useful as shit, into the rabbit hole. Yeah, where all the rabbits go. It's going down in this hold up. Into the rabbit hole. Shit, where all the rabbits go. It's going down.
Could it be that my dreams are my reality? Cause the things that I see is a lot of me. Got my people living with no vision, mind tragedy. Fucked up out here with no knowledge. I'm looking for the key, searching like a wildebeest. I plant the seed up in my mind, root grew a tree. My thoughts and facts of life poetry. I always say the only way to the pain is the hurt. The only way to gain in the brain is the search. That's what an OG told me. Never approach a train slowly, but keep some range on me. Mind frame off the chain, killing long reach. Dark light in the tunnel, thought so deep. Now it's time to wake the fuck up. Mine was on sleep, melody and third act clicking. I guess that I can see. Perfect vision started to lock in the shit that ain't for me. When the numbers and destiny shit really play a key.
Yeah, into the rabbit hole. Shit, where all the rabbits go. It's going down in this. Hold up. Into the rabbit hole. Where all the rabbits go. It's going down. It's going down. You know I drive a hard bargain. You want problems, come see Carvin. The new ruler of a mentor. Yeah, I'm in this bitch Osiris. I'm a Titanic force. I know you feel me, man. Subterranean, dwelling, weird and brilliant, man. I'm just a product of my universe. Your shit rehearse. I'm steady adding to this body count. You in the hearse, I got the mind of an electron. I build on what matters and leave a black hole in its place when I move to some better. Catch this wave of some solid and just flow with the ether. My string theory, from nothing to some playing for keeps. You seem weary, they know that we moving in bounds and leaps. You're reeking the fear that's letting me know that it's time to eat. Call me chaos the destroyer, boy, you lames is in trouble. Cause when I go off and it get raw, when y'all ain't bubbling, you boys dropping shit to try to get you a buzz. We give them a cold rap so they can see what it does. What it does, yeah, into the rabbit hole, shit, where all the rabbits go. It's going down in the, hold up, into the rabbit hole, shit, where all the rabbits go.
You're now listening to Chaos, Alice in Wonderland. Yo, my name is Dini-Mussolini. I'm your host. And what I'm going to say to you guys is, may you be blessed with many problems. Like, what the hell are you talking about, dude? All right, listen. Be grateful for your problems. You are more committed, more focused, more effective when you have no choice but to be. You're more likely to prevail when you must prevail. Great achievements don't usually happen just because someone thought it would be fun, a fun thing to do in their spare time. Great achievements come because they must, because there is no other choice. Which are you more likely to regret? Time wasted in idleness or enjoying good fortune, or time spent overcoming the obstacles in your way? Man, listen, the obstacles will teach us. The problems will force us to grow, to live, to appreciate what we have, and to know who we are. They are a blessing. Some of them. Not all problems, but some. But when we have no other choice, we can do some amazing things. It's all about survival, right? You know, fear makes a whole bunch of senses go off in your body. There's adrenaline, there's quick thinking. Some people, I'm not saying not all people, think when fear hits them or grips them, but true survivors know that anything can happen at any second, and sometimes you don't go to the gym to prepare for these situations. They just happen, and somewhere in your mind, somewhere in your makeup, you are forced to counterattack these fears when they come. And fear pushes us to our limit to be the best that we can be. But that is my opinion, of course. All right, so yeah, welcome to Skeptix. This is another episode. I think I'm going to call it like, I don't know, it was going to be like fake woke at first, but then I was like, nah, that's not catchy. Some people are half asleep, and some people are half woke. You know how kids used to be with, one eye open and one eye closed, like they half awake? I don't know, maybe it's just me being bad when I was younger, but, this is where we dive deep with people who are Christians or Buddhists or atheists, Muslims, study meta and quantum physics, can talk about opening your third eye, chakras, Kemet, healing crystals, and our indigo children, all that great stuff. Are we debunkers? No, I think not, but we are great debaters that are on a quest of understanding, and overstanding. If you'd like to be a guest on our show or to join in our live and open conversation, you can chime in by dialing 701-801-9813 or joining in the mix by heading over to my website, which is Only One Media Group. And right there on the front page, you can slap that go live button and you'll be right here in the mix, in the chat room or on the browser, whichever you want to call it, right here with us. So this show is all about honesty, redemption, transparency. Different co-hosts will frequent these episodes and guest star with me to tell their perspectives and their opinions. We're just saying that we're skeptical of the government, skeptical of education, skeptical of religion, skeptical of rumors, skeptical of people, and most important, skeptical of your handshake. So yeah, this is a judge-free environment. Well, actually, don't quote me on that, but there it is. So let's go ahead and bring on my guests. First and foremost, we have my shaman brother from Indiana, who's of Latino descent, but he's black. Skinny Bones, what's up?
Yo, Latino Cubano. Yeah, we're doing it for life. So yeah, what's good?
Man,
yeah, you just chilling here. How you feeling, man?
Man, I'm doing wonderful, man. I just got back from Memphis, actually today. Back in
yeah? Yeah. What's going on out there in Memphis?
Oh, well, I try to go connect with the Dark Side Thugs and get.
Oh yeah, how they doing, man? What's up with the Dark Side Thugs?
Man, they didn't answer the phone until I got ready to leave today, so that didn't happen.
That's crazy, man. That's shame on the Dark Side Thugs to hope somebody spanks him.
He didn't know, and it was a surprise. I had other business going on there, but, got to connect with the king when I can.
I just hope he has some beans and rice mixes in with my Popeye.
Definitely. All right. I'm going to bring on my other brother, yohanan-rael. What's up, bro?
Yo, what's up?
Chilling, man. Man, I'm ready for this, Man Know Thyself.
Oh, yeah, man. October 20th, man. in a couple of days, matter of fact, man. Yeah, we really excited, man. We're getting good feedback from the people, good energy from the people. I think everybody's excited, man. Like you said, some people walking around, you know, half zombified. Some people kind of waking up, wiping the crust out their eyes like, hey, man, something not right here, man. And those are the people we looking for, man, trying to, you know, give them a little helping hand, man, so they don't have to make up too much ground, you know, because we got work to do out here, man.
Definitely. I honestly think, man, being woke is not like a fashion trend. It's like a T-shirt.
Oh, most
put it on. Yeah, you put it on for social media. I was just recently
saying that. But you got those that are actually a part of it. It's like you got the ancient ones that are really doing it. Then you got those that say, hey, you know, wouldn't it be cool if we was woke today?
Right. All right, let me bring on my man Pagosi from California. We do a lot of podcasts together. What's up, bro?
Hey, what's up, Dini? How you doing, man? Happy to be on the show once again. It's been a minute. Yeah, what's up?
Chilling, man. Ready to do another Drunk Talk Radio with you.
Oh, yeah, that's coming. Ghetto Media's Umpire Hour podcast. Yup, I got it up and running again. Let's do it.
All right, man. So the song in the beginning was a song called Alice in Wonderland, and it's from my new brother, Chaos. What's up, bro?
What's going on, fam?
Chilling. And I met Chaos through Yohanan-rael. So all three of us will be doing Man Know Thyself along with one other brother.
Oh, yeah, man.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
What did you say it's called again?
Man Know Thyself.
Now, didn't you have something like that when you did the little Rebirth Rock EP or something? Or is that connected? Or?
Nah, two separate things. But
doesn't it have the same title?
No, I don't think so.
So you call it Man Know Thyself?
Yeah, no, Man Know Thyself.
What does that mean?
I'll let Johanna take it from here.
He said, what's that mean?
Yep.
It's almost self-explanatory, brother.
So it said man. Is it saying man that know by as in know D-I-C-E?
No. K-N-O-W.
K-N-O-W. Oh no. Okay, I get you. Man know and thyself.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I misunderstood. That's okay. I'm clear.
Okay, yeah. You with us now?
Yeah, no doubt. Actually, I'm gonna use what I said though for something else, because that maybe the spirits was talking to me on something else though.
What did you say?
I said, man, no vice.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, man, that's how the spirit works now.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, we got an echo going on somewhere.
Yeah, I know y'all up there messing with the fans and everything. It's all good. I ain't scared.
You said echo?
No telling. Yeah, there's an echo. So we have another caller on the line. Let's see if they want to introduce themselves. 1799, what's up?
Yo, it's me, your brother, Will.
Oh, you got a new number, dude?
No, I'm using my wife's phone.
Well, here's my brother, my real brother, Ben-Urias.
What's going on, guys?
What's up, man?
Not much, bro, man. Just chilling.
All right. I sure didn't recognize the number.
Yeah, man.
So, yeah, going back to the statement, man. I believe being woke is a fashion statement. I think the so-called conscious community is full of crap. I don't even think there is one, actually. I mean, there are some. I mean, because I met a bunch of them and out in Atlanta. But from a social media standpoint, it seems like it's the cool thing to do.
Right.
You know, to be conscious or to say you have black thought or I got rocks. I got some pretty rocks. You know, that kind of thing.
Well, I don't know if it's evolved or de-escalated or de-evolved, but I would say the closest thing that we have for the young people is really the trap soul community, and I really think that that's a legitimate community. But it's just like there were gaps in teachers and elders, or however you want to look at it, role models. Just like when you look at rappers like Schoolie, or when you look at some cats even like Johnny Cinco, there seems to be this dynamic where they're faced with doing what they do in the trap house or the block or whatever, versus where they're trying to go spiritually, mentally, and tapping into some metaphysical aspects. So even SZA, the female singer who kind of takes after Indy Irie and Aaliyah. And so, there's these little mini happenings and explosions. To be honest, we started out with the Rich Kids, and there wasn't really a whole lot of consciousness there. It was more like a rap R&B vibe. But once he kind of went solo, he began to kind of venture down, certain places, which is what Atlanta was known for, speaking of Atlanta. So you had Dungeon Family, but Dungeon Family actually gave birth to Future because, of his relationship with them. So you guys want individuals that are trying. I mean, even when you look at Young Thug, it's not necessarily a neo-soul thing going on there, but it's probably one of the closest shards to this day's generation of true hip-hop, whatever's left of that, until you go actually to, Logic or, or Wu-Tang or groups like that. So,
I mean, I would see what you were saying, but there are layers of so much confusion that I don't think people would even consider those people to be like spiritual or conscious.
You said who's so much confusion?
Yeah, they have so many layers of confusion about their personas. Like
that's the Rubik's Cube. That's the Rubik's Cube, and the oxymoron in it all is that, we went from having a clear line of clarity between genres and what was what, but, with the lack of leading and guidance, you really can't expect any more of it. I mean, even when you think about it, it just makes you think about Bone Thugs and Harmony. They were like one of the first groups who come out with mysticism. I don't know if they were neo-soul, but as certain ones branched out solo-wise, you could kind of see where more conscious spirituality was. Like if you listen to Busy stuff as opposed to listening to Lazy Bone stuff, you're not going to hear very much neo-soul conscious stuff in Lazy's per se, but you hear Busy, he gets into a lot of different things. Even the Mo Thug, that's a whole Family Scriptures compilation, was pretty neo-soul thug, what would be the template to stuff like that, because it wasn't like they were just talking about murdering people, just, strictly murdering, dope, and drugs. They actually got into more soulful topics, which would breed way for a lot of the neo-soul stuff of the late 90s, 2000s.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I just feel like... Oh, go ahead.
I really believe, man, like you saying, with the whole emergence of knowledge and information with the internet, with the birth of the internet, you got a lot of different information out there, man, that's just not necessarily correct or accurate, and people just taking it and running with it, just on the basis of, hey, look at me, I know something or whatever. But when you talking about true, what I like to call gnosis or occult information, whatever you want to call it, you're going to know the people that, resonate with truth or whatnot, because you're gonna feel those people's energy as far as no sense of selfishness or ego or these type of things. They just want the information to get out there to the people that it needs to. You know what I'm saying? So, when it all boils down to it, it's like, being able to tell the difference between something that's authentic and something that you can tell is just not genuine. You know what I'm saying? So in the end, these things will reveal themselves. But right now we're in a phase where, like you saying, it's trending, man, to feel like you're a part of something that everybody else is trying to get into. And I don't really feel like this is necessarily a bad thing, man. At least the energy of what's supposed to be there is there. Yeah. Exactly.
And then when you say that, you make me get real. So I don't know what dini-mussolini was thinking when he brought the Skin and Bones on, because when Lamani S. and Cole speaks, it's an unlimited it's an unlimited circumference in these kind of arenas. But I'm going to throw a real big fireball out there and step back and see how it burns. When I hear you talk, Brother L, it kind of makes me pose the question, if you're even familiar with this, but I don't know if callers are on the line and how that works, but it kind of sets a dynamic out there for me, like, where do you draw the line? I mean, who should we kind of research more? Farrakhan, Elijah Muhammad, or the Noble Drew Ali? Like, do people know the backdrop of those kind of things? And then, why are certain individuals in those type of circles more talked about in modern day than men who actually did a lot of footwork, in the late 20s, early 30s, way before hardcore racism even existed with our people in modern day North America, as opposed to what were we going through or how were we activating in all those parts of the land, coming from Caribbean domiciles and foreign domiciles into what we know as the United States of America. So those kind of things I often wonder, like, what's the difference between someone like that as opposed to, what was going on in the 50s and 60s when Cassius Clay came along and finally decided to make that move with his name. You see what I'm saying? So I think it's either a lack of information or a lack of research or a lack of gnosis or knowledge of information that's out there.
I think it's a lot of research. And I think in large part, when you're dealing with the quote-unquote conscious community, we lost track of what true scholarship is, and somewhere in the mix, fell in love with just arguing with each other.
Yep, absolutely. That's my thing.
I think John Henry Clark said it best, that we didn't understand chronology then and we don't understand it now.
Absolutely. And I'm a chronological nut. Dini will tell you that. I don't even sometimes want to watch any kind of movie, even for entertainment purposes, if I don't understand where the storyline stems from in any kind of reading material or any kind of material that has a chronological order to it. So that's kind of what I was getting at when I kind of mentioned Mo Thugs. I think that was a real big piece, just to say, like, most people don't even understand what Mo Thugs meant, and I'm not going to get into it, but there's a science behind that. During that time, that's what helped them change the face of hip-hop, rap, R&B history, because you have to realize when they came out, Tupac Machiavelli was on the charts in the same time, in the same year, right as he transcended, and they both were going platinum. So here you have Tupac Machiavelli at the top of the charts, and right underneath it is Mo Thug Family Scriptures. When you pay attention to those particular albums and the dynamics of those albums and the song content at the time, what was going on with urban, Black American, African American, Moorish American people, Caribbean American people at that time, all over the United States and the world for that matter, then you can kind of reflect on what was going on in hip-hop, where it was going, as opposed to where it had been before with the House Party, Kid and Plays, the Queen Latifahs, the MC Lights, the Kumo D's, the Big Daddy Kanes, moving on into what we experienced in the 90s.
Sure.
Definitely. Ben-urias, man, what's your opinion on this community?
My opinion is like this. I think, like you said, it's a fad, and most people just want to feel intelligent and fit in instead of doing their own research. And they just tune in to what other people say instead of just listening and doing the research themselves, reading books, listening to different kinds of genres and music, and just seeking the truth for themselves instead of just listening to everybody else and following the crowd. I see in this day of time, there's a lot of followers, and nobody just want to step out and be their own person. So I think that when somebody say they woke, they just mean that, hey, I just listened to a podcast about something and I just understand everything, instead of just going out there and learn from themselves and experiencing life for themselves.
Right on. They don't live it. They listen to it, but they don't live it.
Yeah, like you can tell somebody who's real by the lifestyle they live, not just by the way they speak. You see, we're just like.
But how far can the eyes see? Actually, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, as much as we speculate or spectate each other. Like, I mean, there's no true gnosis of mine that I can say, well, even when it comes to Dini, we've known each other for years now. I mean, I've had a chance to vibe with this brother and see his works, but I can't really just say, you know, that he doesn't have his ups and downs. But what I can say is that whatever he speaks about, he lives that. But, I mean, I'm sure that there's times in everyone's life where we can all grow and learn more. I mean, it's no difference than looking at where Tupac came from in the 90s, in the early 90s, to where he ended up on Death Row Records. So a lot of people are saying, well, you know, Tupac, he really wasn't that kind of person, and he really wasn't violent like that. He was just doing what everybody expected him to do. But, you know, if you listen to what he says when he says, how can I be an angel when I'm surrounded by devils? I mean, it's like either get shot or get to shooting. So you seen him at the gun range. So was those blank bullets he was shooting, or did he really shoot at the police when they tried to kill him? I mean, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, when does art imitate, you know what I'm saying, reality, and when is reality actually imitating art? I think that's really what it is. I mean, everybody's concerned about Young Thug's dress, but have you ever seen Young Thug at the gun range with the big old Draco? Because I've seen footage of him doing that, so I'm sure he can knock a proof brothers off their toes. You know, when does the dress stop? And when does it get down to a man defending himself and his family and using the knowledge? Because he's pretty intelligent, and he does throw a lot of money back into his community when it comes to his family and paying tuition. So I'm just saying, for all the controversy and what people are or aren't, you know what I'm saying, even when it came down to people like Busy Bone, you know, everybody's looking at him, well, he's light-skinned and he talks kind of soft and kind of feminine. But to be honest, he's one of the top 10 independent artists that people look up to and revere out of the whole group. I mean, but does that mean because he's a soft-talking, you know, kind of, you know, sensitive brother that he can't, you know, defend himself, you know, or he is not living a life that will resemble, you know, Black American knowledge or consciousness? You see what I'm saying? Just because he came from a thug way of life.
Definitely. Pagosi, man, what's your opinion, bro?
Yeah, like you were saying, I see it on social media, you know, people that just cut and paste stuff and they say, you know, I'm a leader, you got to do what I say, and I just, like, block that out because I'm like, how can you just tell people you know this and, you know, a lot of people are looking up to this person. You know, I see people like that, and I'm like, man, you know, what if they're just copying something off a blog that somebody made up and they're posting it to social media and all their little followers are just following it? You know, and like you said, sometimes it's like a trend because people will say, I have the answers for you, I have the consciousness, but buy my book for $49.99 or whatever it is. You know, there's always a catch sometimes when I see that stuff on social media. There's a way to make money, you know, off people. And if people just want to spread the knowledge, they're just going to spread it because they want to and because they want to help out. I don't know. That's what I think, but, you know.
Yeah, so are we talking about just people on the internet, or are we talking about just people that use the internet as a way to communicate? Because to me, that's a pretty broad thing. I mean, how can you really synonymize it down to, you know, a particular group of people and or trends of people? I mean, because the internet is at its biggest pinnacle, and it's used to do so much. I mean, it's because of onlyonemedia.com we're even able to do this. So, I mean,
I think it's from both views, where you have people who are of the community that use, you know, social media as a marketplace because you can reach more people that way versus being a street preacher. And then you have the actual, what I call the internet, people of the internet who just post like memes. Like I seen girls who post memes like, it's a dude and a girl, and there's like pictures of planets, you know, in the background, and they're like, I just want to do this with one person, talk about the universe and chill. It's like, okay, let's put that to a test. So, you know, you hit up the girl and like, you talking all kind of stuff that goes down the rabbit hole, like my man K also, and she's like, you know, she can't go there with me.
Right.
It's more of
that
love
makes it
and
more
hip-hop.
easier. Yeah,
it's more like a love and hip-hop conversation. And you could be so high up on the mountain, man. Like I was telling Yohanan one day, you can be studying immensely, gaining knowledge, you know, doing the research, living the life, and you're up there on the mountain. You're on Mount Sinai, You come down like Moses and you don't understand the chaos. You can't relate to the chaos of the world anymore because you're not saying that you're above it, but your frequencies are way above it. And everything else just seems like it's just dumb.
Yeah. Well, see, when you relate it to relationships or in that kind of a vein, I think that actually that's the heartbeat of it all. It boils down to emotions versus logic. And I often say to people that I deal with back here and as part of the Midwest that anymore, and this is not to detract from anything that's going on in this forum because it's a pleasure to be here, but I often say I'm so much more focused now on logic and what I can, prove factually in any ramifications or through any sources that it can provide some type of solid foundation than opinions because, it's good for things like this because we can vibe off each other and then outside of that we'll be, oh, yeah, you did a good job and I really feel what you're saying. But at the end of the day, if we get so caught up in the facts of, or if we get so caught up in the things of the world as far as what's more emotional than what's actually going on, then there's no way that we can even be, a source of help or a source of information. Just like using your example, when Moshe came down off the mountain and, he was so bright and had to put sackcloth over his head, the people were intimidated by that to start with. They were like, well, you're way out of our league, and I don't even think that we want to, converse with you right now because you're making us feel inferior or less than. So I think that's another thing is that it's hard for people to relate to being able to say, hey, I don't know this. Could you help me with this? Or where can I go to become enlightened? Or what can I do to just say, I'm trying to progress, further my progression and growth. I think that America in itself as a corporation has made indigenous people of all different tribes feel that way, especially when a lot of our ancestors or, parents weren't reading or able to read or have access to books. Then you go from access to books to, now some people who are born in the computer age, they need PDF files. If they can't get the PDF files, then they just, like you guys said, go off of memes and things of that nature, which is really a cry out for communication. But like you said, if you're dealing with women specifically, they're always going to be emotional based. So who knows if they're reading at all anyway? And of course, when you get to men, if they don't have a drive to further themselves mentally, they're definitely not concerned about the spiritual aspect. And if there's no spirit, then ultimately the whole body as a being is going to die or perish at a very accelerated rate.
That's very deep. That's so true, but very deep. That is real.
Just feeding off you guys.
But, going back to, the emotional aspect, there's so many levels to it. I don't know where to begin, but
we got the time, Didi. Just you got the flow, man. Just let it flow.
I think one of the things with the popular community, man, is that it's a lack of empaths. So you got a whole bunch of people, and I say that because we're speaking on emotions.
Right.
You got groups and groups and groups of people who may think that they're empathizing and being empaths, but when you just observe them, you got a bunch of sympathizers.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And the task system speaks on sympathizing in a sense of man is the only creature on the planet that sympathizes for the weak. Because man is weak.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And most people, no matter how woke they claim they are, don't make it past that man phase.
Yep. And it's so funny you say that because you make me think of the rapper himself, Logic. And it's so crazy because now they did a documentary on Netflix with him. And he's reached so many people because of the dynamics of his contradiction or the conflict of his becoming, which was to be a mulatto, to be mixed with European American blood as well as African or Black American blood. So that being the case, he had to deal with a lot of dynamics on both sides. So he's the perfect archetype for that kind of thing, to be strong in the midst of all this weakness that was built in the modern day societies of America. So I definitely feel that. And that's even more the reason why I feel like these kind of forums are so important, because when we as men can come together on one foundation from all different walks of life and be able to reflect and bounce and beam off of each other versus, trading back pictures on Facebook or, even though I've been using the Insta-scam lately, or Instagram, my bad. You use a lot of Insta-scam and, where they're doing a lot of this and a lot of that. It tends to be a stronger form because with Facebook, so many people are catfishing. They're living lives that are not real, or they're mannequin, but they're dressed in all these clothes. They're dressed in their model, this Facebook profile, so you think you're getting one thing like Houdini says, but when you reach out, you find out it's a ruse. And then, you got the final source of media when you go with the top three, which is basically YouTube. So you go there, and then you're trying to get your music out, and that's cool. But then you have what's now this big commercialized machine impeding on your social platform. You see what I'm saying? So it's getting to the point to where if we don't build on these kind of forums, these kind of platforms which are independently ran, then everything else is going to cease to exist, and there will be no forms of communication until another wave breaks through, which was like what Facebook originally was supposed to be, which was like the breakthrough of the actual book, which came from the journal, of somebody's personal journal. They decided to, mass produce it and share their thoughts with the world, which is what we're doing on this forum. So, again, this could be the template to something even bigger. The question is, are others going to catch on and push it as well?
The way I feel about social media, I feel like it's a trap. Like it's not everything what it's supposed to be. I feel like it's owned by the government. Facebook is actually in league with the government with the profiles, your password, your policies. Like the government all has all them things. So when I think about social media, I think about the government keeping tabs, and they not gonna let just people just wake up and just see things as they are. They're gonna give you the glamour, they're gonna give you the things that look nice, they're gonna give you the celebrities, they're gonna just make you they actually, I feel like it's just dumbing down America altogether. That's how I feel like the way America is going right now. It feel like I'm not saying it's the internet in general, but it feel like it's some type of dumbing down of America going on right now.
Well, the funny part about that kind of invigorates me is that I don't know why I can always tell in the earlier phases of just this discussion, there's a lot of purity even in this discussion. And so I'll throw this out there. I'll say that it's a necessary evil because at the end of it all, it's going to kind of be one of them situations where when you're going to become a man in certain tribes, you have to go out there and hunt your first animal. It's not a murder. It's considered a pure kill because you hunt it. They would take it. They would not traumatize the animal and give, the skin back to the earth unless needed for clothing, and then, take the parts that were needed to feed the tribe. So we have to get back to the essence of that. We have to allow all the imperfections and perfections of this world, the pathway to leading us to become whole men or whole people in society. We need those leagues of light and darkness is one to kind of show us where we stand. So when we wake up in the AM, we can look at ourselves in the mirror and say, you're a real motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? I deal with you because I can see myself. Doesn't mean I'm not going to be prone to some mistakes, flaws being perfected. It's just a way of saying, you know what? I know that you're out to do good things. Not good as in bad or evil, but good as in, okay, I'm in my higher self more than I find myself in my lower self, that no one is going to pull me off of my mission or my path when it comes to feeding my children and the people that depend on me. So when we begin to take that mentality or that perspective in life, it wouldn't matter if the dark league of fucking Sith Lords came and landed on planet Earth through Independence Day Part 49. We're going to be ready for whatever. And then there are going to be some individuals that are going to be part of the government. They're going to say, you know what? we really need to step back and stop doing this weird shit because it's starting to affect us in ways we didn't anticipate, which brings us back to how, the whole crack epidemic started. Nobody probably figured that a guy was going to start writing about that, a Caucasian American was going to start covering that story. Nobody figured that, Ricky Freeway Ross was going to be able to expound on what happened and actually say that the government was in league with him was selling dope. No one could have ever seen that coming, but they have a saying, whatever is done in certain darknesses will come to light. So.
Definitely.
Don't y'all get quiet on me. I'm out here by myself.
No, that's real. It's just a lot of information, but that's so true. I agree. It's like, yeah, like, everything done in the darkness will come to light. Like, a lot of stuff is coming out now, with or without social media. A lot of stuff that was secret is coming out. So, in time, it's going to come out. And like you were saying, Skin and Bones, you're right. Having these independent media is important because, on Facebook, if you say stuff that they don't like or you play copyright music, they shut down your stream. They always shut my stream down when I seem to say certain things, but they'll claim it's the music. Oh, copyright, But I think it was probably because they didn't like what I was talking about during that particular stream. So I also have my own podcast on my own blog, and, that's the way you kind of get around it.
Well, it's funny because when y'all brought up Facebook, I instantaneously thought about, I don't know if most people realize this or not, but they actually purchased Instagram.
Yeah, they own Instagram, so there's no escape.
You know what I'm saying? But that was just like, it's the same thing with Time Warner AOL. It's kind of like when WCW, you know what I'm saying, when they go, because they were TBS and TNT, and that's all Warner. So when I remember them talking about it. They said AOL was like, well, they didn't realize that they were going to be so absorbed and sucked in by the other companies. They were trying to do something cutting edge and revive AOL, American Online, for the next wave of computer technology, but that never happened. So here you have a lot of people like my cousin Next Factor who still has an AOL account email, but, no AOL. So, I guess what I'm saying is at the end of the day, money can only take you so far. It's basically, like you guys were saying, the impression of whoever is really running things, meaning as how the government is involved with Facebook. But one thing we can say is that when you're looking at people like Mark Zuckerberg, he has amassed so much power and value that when you have a brother like that who's going to say, okay, you guys can watch over my shoulder, but you're not going to get on my computer. You're just not going to effing do it. He's like, so, we agree to disagree on certain things and let these kids do their thing. So I can kind of see it on both sides. If I'm the government and I'm known for doing what I do, of course I'm going to want to kind of run through certain profiles and this and that. But when you're dealing with someone like Zuckerberg, who's always been a rebel, he's only going to let them go so far. And he's the kind of person that you can tell just from the past, no matter how much money this guy's got. They say he says in a cubicle and has the same outfits. He's purchased the same exact outfits in his closet. Like, he almost has 5 outfits apiece that are the same because he's that focused on work. He says he doesn't want anything to distract him from what he does on Facebook, so he gets the same outfits all the time, so his brain doesn't get distracted. So when you're dealing with somebody like that, the government's only going to be able to go so far, but at the same time, they're still going to exalt the will, but you have to always remember there's a certain amount of value that comes with each and every one of us, and as long as we play our part in the universe, it's going to be impossible for us to be, removed. Like Pagosi's got his thing going on with his podcast as he builds demand. What's going on here with the Skeptics, and only one as he's built his demand. Whatever I build my demand on what I'm doing, and so forth and so on to everyone else. Even I hear Houdini talking a lot about this song, Chaos. It's built some type of, it's built some type of urge or pull in his soul. So we have to realize that these are the first beginning stages and seeds to things that are required or needed in the universe as it stands. So people are going to speak out for what they want. And it doesn't matter how many people are going to extermination squads or how many people turn around and disappear, end up missing. I feel sorry for the family of the guy who did uncover the whole conspiracy with, the government and Rick Ross. But, he did his part, and he rode that horse to the bottom of the fucking rodeo. So, he did what he was supposed to do. And nobody's going to be able to, everyone's not going to get out alive. That's just what it is. And when we can take that as men, it's like war. You have to be prepared to know that there's going to be a lot of collateral damage. There's going to be a lot of losses, but you got to do your part. Win, lose, or draw, you got to do it.
Definitely. And ultimately, man, I really feel like this is generation loss. So a lot of people are just wanting to belong to something. And, you know, the conscious community just seems very easy to get into. I mean, everybody's looking for a leader. Everybody's looking for a master. Everybody's looking for God in something.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
And a lot of people are misinformed. A lot of people are tricked.
Yeah.
A lot of people are just following the fad. So
does anybody know? Does anybody have a specific essence when that happens?
Yeah, when stuff like that happens, it's time to call people who really know what's going on and say, "Hey, we got a problem." Instead of just sitting back on Facebook twiddling my thumbs watching all the dumb stuff happen or the conversations happen. Exactly. And there's so many times that I just want to jump in conversations, and I type out a whole paragraph, and then I just erase it. Or
you got to forward me some of that. I've been missing out, Houdini.
or I make a status.
You don't want to get persecuted.
Yeah, well, it's not that. It's not that, ben-urias. Yeah, it's not that. I'm not afraid of that, the persecution or to the challenge. It's the energy.
Yeah.
Right.
I can make a whole status, man, and like, never mind.
Isn't that what we're supposed to do, though? Don't we supposed to put that type of energy in? I mean, guys,
I do feel that way, but I also feel like it's energy that'll be misdirected. Like it'll go over people's heads. So why plant the seed that I know would just get overlooked? He's, and I'm not afraid of. Hey, he's crazy. Okay, yeah.
Well, maybe you should. It's time to write a book, Houdini. It's time to do a mini book. TDS book, man.
Do a book. I'll read the book.
Take that energy and take that focus, and put it in yourself.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, make a book, man.
Because when you externalize it, you defeat the purpose.
Yeah, yeah. And that kind of inspires me, because for just you saying that alone, bro, really makes me look at it like this, Chico, like to the point to where you really inspired me to say, okay, those are fears that I had coming out of the streets, like what I covered in one of my interviews where, I said, and I had to go back to people like Bone, Pac, and Wu-Tang. They inspired me even in the streets to go into the music because it was a form where I could be heard and heard in a way that I wouldn't be overlooked. Everything probably wouldn't be paid attention to, but enough of it would have been, would be heard and respected to where not only could I let my character shine through, but what I stood for to a certain degree. Of course, certain things had to be kept back, but I think that's why, media is so powerful now, because forms like music have become greater tools than they ever have been. Sports are still great, but it's not like it was when Jordan and Magic and then Bird were there. So I say that to also say, let me ask you this, Mr. Mussolini. Where were you at when you kind of had this light bulb go off, and what do you remember happening? What was the first happening that you remember when you were like, oh no, the conscious forum or the conscious foundation or the conscious community is being infiltrated, and it's turned into something other than what you knew it to be? Where were you at in what year, or if you can remember any of that, where were you at and what were you doing when you first realized that?
I would say, the past 2 or 3 years I've been just watching. It seems like the especially the black conscious community. Now there is all kind of conscious community, universal, whatever, but specifically the black conscious community. I was seeing a breakdown of men, arguing back and forth with women, putting them down, and there seemed to be some kind of hierarchy going on. And go ahead, Chaos.
I think that whole Sinetta culture had a lot to do.
The what culture?
But go ahead. Sinetta TV.
Oh wow, you know that's now. See, now you went way to the other side. We gonna get to that in just a minute. Go ahead, Houdini. Though finish that up so we
yeah. We definitely
that's a whole other jump.
Yeah, we got to get on that one. But yeah, so a few years, I was just watching the breakdown of the community, false information. It seems like they were just creating a whole new religion, and instead of
Holy Man, Eddie Murphy.
Okay.
Wow.
Right. And you know how at one point it's like, I don't want to be a label. But then not wanting to be a label became a label. So now you got these I don't want to be a label. Now you are a label. You just created a label by saying you're not a label. Because you got a whole bunch of people saying the same thing.
Right.
And
that's deep,
I just started disassociating myself with these Facebook groups. I started just jumping out. And I was part of an Indigo one, and I was like, dang, there's a bunch of crybabies in here. Got out of that one.
Wow.
It's like, yo, why are you not going to help them? All right, do you see that? Yo, we're supposed to be warriors. We're supposed to be spiritual warriors. I ain't got time to be, picking up 1,000 people with broken legs and broken arms and broken hearts. That's going to wear me out spiritually, emotionally. That's draining. I can't do that.
Right.
And so
that's great.
Out of all these Facebook groups, I started dropping out. And, and I used to make posts in these groups, just trying to, uplift people. And I was getting messages in my inbox like, yo, why are you not uplifting us today? Wow. I'm not in the group anymore. Why are you out of the group? Oh, man, I'm drained, bro. Like, too many crybabies in here. And you guys are missing.
They wanted to mutinize you, didn't they? Were they trying to murder you after that?
Nah, because they can't murder Houdini. I've disappeared. Yep. That's never going to happen.
I'm just saying, did they start rumors or did they try to bust shots at you on the low because you didn't want? Did they feel? I guess what I'm saying is, did you sense a level of inferiority complex?
Nah, man, they deleted me as a friend.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was looking for. Yeah, no doubt.
Or you get this content is not available anymore because they blocked me or something. That's cool. Yeah. That's cool. That happens. I mean, that happens in real life. You grow apart from people that you grow up with. I mean, that happens. Can't find them no more, or they don't want to be found. Typical.
I admire your outlook. You're very merciful.
No, man. I guess so. But I mean, it just goes with times of just being fed up with, watching people feed people like the BS system, like the whole thing that you're against, you creating it. You're just calling it something else. So it's a new machine now, and I was like, yo, I got to say something about it, but I need like-minded individuals to, help me see this thing. Maybe I'm just being too careful, or being that lone wolf guy that I'm always am.
But don't you think that certain individuals in hip hop though are kind of responsible for that? Because when you start talking like that, I can't help but think about groups like the Dungeon Family, which was made up of Outkast and the Goody Mob and their people. Like, don't you think that certain people in hip hop, regardless of the schisms or isms behind what reasons or why, kind of abandoned specific errors and generations? Because I mean, when we look back at it, all these groups, phone tap, who's there looking in my window, and then going all the way to Andre 3000, when they, my man, it was an evolution of being this type of deal to doing another thing, you know what I'm saying? So, as I mean, I think that people in hip-hop should be held responsible for, as spokespersons or so-called wannabe leaders, more than anything.
Well, it depends on who want to be a martyr.
No, I mean, I'm not saying that either, but I'm still saying at some point, somebody has to swallow the pill, or somebody has to, somebody has to. I mean, we can't just hot potato 2, potato 3, potato 4. I mean, somebody has to say, and I think that's what it is. It's a lack of, it's just like if today Houdini goes platinum off of whatever single or album, man, that's a whole nother level of responsibility for you as an artist, sir.
Yeah.
Producer, whatever.
Yeah.
No getting away from it. Now, you can just say you're built for greatness, but when they tell you built for greatness is at the top of the independent charts, now what are you going to do? That's okay. I'll hear you guys. I'll just give the money to a charity. I don't think you're going to do that per se. You might give a portion of it to charity, but then are you going to have to deal with people, oh, see, Houdini, you talked on that stuff on the podcast, but there's people over here suffering in Canada, man. We need your help. Come over here. I mean, so there's applied pressure, and then there's self-applied pressure. There's pressure that we put on ourselves, and then there's pressure that's just subliminally already there because we want to help people. To what degree, that's always the struggle, at least from where I'm standing anyway.
Nah, truer words never spoken.
Yeah, I think that's what Chaos was mentioning, man. We slipping into the realm of sympathy when we should be in the realm of empathy and concern with our, overall, I guess you, for lack of a better word, can say salvation, to where you need to be focusing on bringing your inner self to the forefront and not necessarily too concerned with those of us that not putting in the work and not educating ourselves, putting in research, trying to find out the bigger picture at hand, and constantly being distracted by illusions of the matrix or whatever. So when we talking about this knowledge that we saying, man, back to the gnosis, you're going to have those booby traps and distractions, smoke and mirrors, to where you think it's some valid information, but the more you peel back those layers, you figure out, oh man, it's just another rabbit hole I done sunk into. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. I mean, and that's the crazy part about everything, is that as much as like each one of us have strong, beautiful minds. And let's just say here we are, the death chambers, sitting outside of the actual planet Earth on some type of plateau in our own metaphysical, unilateral forum, and here we are now at this crystal table that's just formed with our mind to hold, mass and matter and discussions thereof. So at what point, bouncing back off of Houdini, at what point when we come out of that realm and touch back down on planet Earth, can we truly say that we can relate to all this? Because that's kind of what it's been about from the start, since Houdini opened the floor, was just like, this fake woke stuff. So, I mean, but are people voluntarily being asleep? Or are people, like the coach said, are they being put to sleep? Or, are they fighting, being forced to go to sleep? You see what I'm saying? It's so hard to tell anymore. Yeah, it's so hard to tell.
All of those. And the reason why I said what I said about Sinetta TV earlier, as far as shifting responsibility to circles such as that, is because after you attain a certain amount of knowledge, entertainment will cease to be your main influence. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when I made my shift and started dealing with more and more information, I started looking at different teachers. I started looking at different people that call themselves teachers. And I started to dissect the information that they gave.
Right.
Or the lack of information that they gave.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that platform, that's to shoot it down. Go ahead.
Because it was built on confrontation. Like a lot of other cats. You know
See, and that was the thing when I seen them. I don't have anything, like, I'm not trying to come from a negative place, but just beaming and bouncing off of the observations and the commentary thereof on that, I kind of peeped that out. Like, it turned at times into almost like a skin and grin show, but with just different types of, greens, reds, and blacks on. I mean, sometimes they covered commentary that were worthwhile, but I feel like there's such a cry, there's such a demand for, like Brother Dini was talking about, for consciousness awareness material, but the demand is not being met with whatever people have to supply at this point. Like Houdini said again, there needs to be, and everyone else is kind of trying to do it, there needs to be a certain level like this where we're actually supplying what I would say is facts and logic. And when I say facts and logic, I don't just I mean, like, it comes from experience. Meaning that, so if Houdini, somebody wants to know how, Yeah, if someone wants to know how to write a song, you can go get a book, Songs for Dummies, or you can talk to somebody like Chaos or Houdini about how to write a song, because they've done it. So they can show you a few procedures or processes in that. Then from that information, you can figure out how you want to do a song, because there's no particular right or wrong way to do it. But when you go into the process of mastering and making the song commercial, that's when shit gets technical. But if you want to be avant-garde and be unique, you can turn around and spend, 40 to 50 hours to a whole fucking year on one song. Now, does that mean it's going to turn out oh so great? If you process it right, it might have a nice sound to it, but the aim to communicate the message might suffer. Because sometimes we've got bubblegum songs that are coming on the radio all the time, and man, it has a catchy vibe to it, but is anything really being said worthwhile on it? You know what I mean? It's a way of saying, well, it's mumble rap, but most people don't understand that at least 50% of mumble rappers are trappers or into some type of illegal activity. Now, walk with me on this one, and I'll yield the floor. I'm in this day and time knowing that the hip-hop police is favoring them, not about to say in and everything I do on a song that's about to go national, on the radio or otherwise, where the feds and the hip-hop cops can hear what I'm saying. So I'm probably going to take a note from Bone Thugs and Harmony, Do or Die Twist, and kind of flip that up really fast and say some words that only thugs know. So is it really mumble rap or is it codex rap? We just have to know the difference.
It could be. Man, what that is industry rap.
Some of it. That's why I use the thugs as a...
That's what they want to promote. That's what they want to promote.
But again, based on facts, we have to pay attention to the fact that the hip-hop cops are bigger than they've ever been. And like my father told me before he passed, because he lived in California, like real hardcore. And before there was even a documentary on the hip-hop cops, that's how they were coming after rappers in the West Coast. They started kind of there and then trickled the Midwest and then the South. But yeah, really, there was a point in time where most rappers didn't have to worry about somebody skimming off their songs, skimming off what they were saying. You had people like Brother Lynn Chung talking about eating babies and stuff. And, maybe he was a part of a whole nother plan, because he ain't never been to jail like that. And it's been publicized, but then again, also, he was an underground rapper. So I'm saying, when you have certain rappers that come from a thug lifestyle and they achieve a certain amount of prosperity, regardless of whether we like them or not, we have to realize that kids had to start getting smart, because their homies were going and doing bids for long amounts of time, because it's, Fed done turn around and got his song and said, yeah, we know you're doing this. And in defense of the rappers, everybody that's talking about, doing things that are, not becoming on a legal term is not faking. You see what I'm saying? All these rappers out here that's talking about trapping ain't lying. You see what I mean? That's how they're getting the money for the rap budgets, obviously, because the industry ain't paying it for them no more. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm getting at. Is we just have to know the difference between those who are actually encoding their rap as opposed to those that are really just trying to hang on there to get by. Doesn't mean we have to like it. I'm not saying you have to like famous-dex, but you can tell the generation of what he did. He started out a little trap boy, Migo-dex and all of this and all of that. You can see in his videos. But slowly but surely, as he moved up the chain, his raps became less and less, meaningful. He sure has a lot of energy, though, and that's what the young kids were feeding off of, him bouncing around like a cartoon character. Oh, my goddamn, and that's kind of something that was going on with, the digital underground, quiet as kept. We know good and damn well that, come on, Humpty, when to come with a dumpty. We know that's the first stage of dumb rap, but it was entertaining because they had other commentary and other songs when he was Shock G that made it worthwhile. But you know good and damn well you was not taking him over here in the world, do the hump with a big old nose on. Come on, nobody was taking that guy seriously until Pop came out. So, when you're looking back at that as opposed to famous-dex, even to this day, as old as I am, I'm still kind of going to listen to some famous-dex because it's current and it's entertaining. You know what I'm saying? And I know where they got it from. But like I said, fun rap as opposed to rappers like Johnny Cinco and these other rappers like Future who are rapping fast and mumbly because they're selling mad dope. Two Sisters, the dudes got the videos over there with the fucking bandos and the Migos over there in Mexico slanging dope. I mean, you got to mumble somewhere, or you gonna end up in fucking fence time. You gonna be right where Gotti was. I see mumbling too. Shit.
I don't think all of them that intelligent.
No, I mean, I'm not saying all of them, but I mean, based off of what you hear, what you see. I mean, I'm just saying, rap is no longer budgeting people's no longer budgeting rappers, fees to make records. So they have to get it from somewhere. I mean, and they rap about this stuff fervently in their albums. It's just like you said, just like in social media, people are not paying attention, and that's like the biggest trick ever. It's like with Bone. Bone got over for so long with the esoteric arts and knowledge. It was like when the average black American realized that Bone was talking about the board and this and that, they're like, wait a minute, you mean to tell me they're not singing a church hymn on that second track? Oh, no, I'm not listening to those guys anymore. But they're still out there slapping their wife and selling dope, though. You see what I'm saying? So how you going to be mad at Bone for talking about what they talking about, but you can't even pay your bills at your house when you're supposed to be the man of the house type stuff? It's just a bunch of double standards, you know what I mean? Which is pretty much my point of saying it is it's what it feeds back into the internet. People are not who they say they are, and they lack leaders or lack role models or elders, the people that we had growing up to kind of show us and give us a platform. Give us some type of example to go off of, then we can blaze our own trail. We don't even have that out there no more. We don't have anybody to inspire anybody to do anything real.
Right, like mentors, right? We need mentors.
Right, yeah, definitely.
Very true.
I mean, where's the Michael Jordans at? I mean, come on, I ain't got nothing against what's his name, the one that plays for Miami. What's his name for Cleveland? LeBron. I don't have nothing against him. That's the closest we got to the original Larry Birds and Barkleys and Utah Jazz Malones. I mean, come on. I mean, it's all around us. It's a ruse. And I mean, I hate to bring up Get Out, but it's like anytime Hollywood, come on, do we not realize who's funding the movies? I mean, come on, they made Get Out. Who funded that movie? I mean, Hollywood did. So if they're making movies like this on subject matters like that, it's kind of scary that they're allowing movies like this to be made and people don't get it. They said Black Panther did $1 billion. And I don't think anyone's going to really take note from Black Panther like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it did $1 billion. How many people are really going to go over there to Africa and even try to find a Wakanda? You know what I mean? Whether it exists or not. I mean, when are we going to really start putting our actions where our mouth is when we do stuff like that to inspire ourselves? That goes back to what the brother was saying, the side net and all that. When are we going to actually take the initiative to do things ourselves? I think we lack initiative. And I think that's where the young people are so successful, for better or for worse, is because they will get out there and do whatever it takes to be seen. Her Lil Pump, Little Xan, all these little people that got little in their name. They're doing any and everything they can to be seen. I mean, come on, 6ix9ine, he said, I just put on some rainbow here. You motherfuckers going to pay attention to me. You know what I'm saying? One minute he's talking about shooting cats and tough, and the next thing you know, he's sitting over here in rainbow water colored with Skittles and stuff. I mean, they're doing whatever they can, man, because they lack they don't have the attention of the elders. So I feel like we have to make contact with them some kind of way. I'm not saying we need to save lives and save souls because we got our own soul to save, but I'm just saying we really can't be mad at the youth. It's just like, again, with groups like Wu-Tang and Bone, that was my era of people crying out. Ja Rule, they were crying out. Regardless of what people want to say about the beef only happened when the industry wanted a new rapper. Everything that Ja Rule raps about was real. Before he was on the major national scene, everything that he talked about, he lived. It's just that it was more grittier hip-hop. We were more attuned to the frequencies. But there's a lot of brothers out there now that are still struggling and striving the way he was. It's a different time. It's a different era. We have to be aware that as watchers and gods, we can't be so quick to throw a thunderbolt at one of these youngsters because they don't have no role models, man. They don't even have parents. They were, like Future said, he said, I sell my mom some dope. I sell my auntie some dope. That's what Future said. You know what I'm saying? So that's how these kids came up, man.
Skin and bones. You made a good point. Like you were saying in the 90s, like Bone Thugs and Tupac, Machiavelli. they were talking about God and spiritual beings, even the Ouija and demons, all that mixed together. And it had people thinking about that stuff. Me and my friends would sit and listen to Bone and Tupac, and we'd think about, wow, they're talking about Jesus, or they're talking about the devil or the Ouija, and it made us think about spiritual stuff. Now there's none of that. All the young rappers just talk about drugs, sex, and money, and that's all it is. There's just no substance to anything. It's just, and like you said, it's nothing against the youth, because like you said, they don't got the role models. They don't. Even though I've heard a lot of these young guys, though, like Lil Yachty and Kodak Black,
they try, like those guys. Yeah, they're trying. Exactly, they're trying hard.
Little Bam.
You can't. They got the odds stacked against them. You got all these little doing shit.
Yeah, but why did they just Tupac? I think these little guys should listen to Tupac. Listen to some of the records, see where the history came from. I'm not saying try to be the next Pac, but listen to it and then let it go into your mind. But these young cats will be like, no, you're just an old head. That era's over. We're the new shit, So
some of them stand up for Pac, but they still don't have. I don't think, for one, this is gonna sound mean, but this is the truth. Half of these children were raised on Ritalin and Adderall because their parents didn't know how to raise them, and they were on drugs themselves. Unfortunately, the second thing is they want to emulate Pac, and even like Thug. I mean, you say what you want to say about him, but he was like, man, if you listen to the codex of his conversation, he's not no man that's going to belittle himself in the media and make himself look weak, whether he's weak or not. But what he was saying was like, he's like, yo, I feel like I'm the closest thing to Pac that there is right now. And unfortunately, that's the truth. When we're looking at, how he was built and how he came to be from Gucci Man to going to, the rich gang and all that, that part is true. But I'm saying he was only saying that because, where is everybody who raised Pac at? They went around. For me, the closest thing I had to a Pac was Gucci Man. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Then from that point, I went to Suge Knight, which was Baby. You know what I mean? So he survived, man. He survived, and in one of his raps, he says, that's why I don't go outside. He says, because I hope God will forgive me for a lot of the shit that I did out there. You see what I'm saying? So when you look at it from the way it is, man, even Schoolie looks up to 2 Chainz. 2 Chainz got a couple artists under his belt, and he's staying out the way. Because going back to what one of the brothers said, when it comes, and also Houdini, when it comes down, it's an all-out assault on ethnic indigenous people of all shades and paradises, man. It's an attack on our esoteric science and where we come from as people of the South. You see what I'm saying? So we have to be very careful in how we move, what we say and what we do, not so much because we're wrong, but because it's like if you got just these little yachties and these little schoolies and all these really trying to keep that frequency alive, and everybody else knows wearing rainbow hair and doing all this extra stuff, the odds are stacked against them, man. They can only do so much. So that's why these platforms are important, because we can make music, we can do podcasts and have these people out there like, look what they're, I'm going to say this and be quiet, look what they're doing on Empire, like how they did that, how Cookie and them are going through their little struggle. I was telling somebody just today, I really respect the industry for doing that. Somebody is being allowed to do that to show people the upside and downside, because you wouldn't want young people watching Empire and being like, well, the reason why I killed that record is because he wouldn't give me a deal. Cookie did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you feel me? It's going to cause a revolution that's going to be really effed up. So then they had to show, well, so-and-so did this and they went to jail. So-and-so did that and they lost their record label. So that's what they're showing in Empire right now. But the sad part is people are so focused on Two Guys Kissing, they can't even see that the industry is still trying to put everybody up on game. Like, yo, if you want to be successful, you don't have to kiss another motherfucker that's the same sex as you, but you need to know how to count your money, you need to know how to publish your songs, and you need to know that if you got an artist, you better make sure you have a solid contract because somebody might steal them.
Yep.
I haven't been cut off, have I? Is everybody still there?
Are we here?
Oh, yeah. I know, man. I kicked me off line. I said I must have been talking too much then because who didn't even put the mute button on me? And like in other news, but I mean, you guys see what I'm saying though? Like just how everything is kind of just like a web, like how some people are actually getting that love and that exposure, and people who are really trying, they're almost scared because they don't like Houdini said, nobody wants to be a martyr. Are you guys able to kind of see that in the industry and what's going on in social media?
Yeah. Definitely. Well, I want to ask you a question, Skin and Bone. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, I read a lot of books and look into a lot of things about, just what happens when you go down a certain road or live a different lifestyle. And reading these books like the New World Order and stuff like that, it just put a lot of stuff in perspective about predictive programming. About if you really look into like the CIA, FBI, all them institutions like that, how they use certain situations to deliver a certain outcome.
Right.
And that's why I said, like I said, like that was just huge in my mind about predictive programming. How some of these kids are programmed to live these certain lives because, the person they watch on TV or the rapper they saw, came from the same lifestyle they come from. So they make them think like, hey, this might be the only way that I can do this, or the only way I can do this right.
But see, I have to play Metatron's advocate because that's very interesting. But then I'm gonna play a little. Even though I'm a little older than brother, I'm gonna be mini Houdini since it's his show. I'm gonna be the mini Dini right quick and be like. But at the same time, because that's what he does to us often, at least me anyway. But at the same time, I'm gonna hold these cats responsible. And I'm about to be graphic, so I gotta go to sound away from my Ben B. So I'm gonna put it to you like this. If someone tells you, man, you got to open up your ass cheeks to get rich, I mean, if you do that, man, that's on you, man. Like, I don't care how many MK Ultra programs, man. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're locked up, man, if this motherfucker pulls his dick out and says, if you don't suck it, you going to die, well, I'm going to have to die in prison and you coming with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying, there comes a point in time as a man, you got to draw the line. If these dudes is up here putting all kind of beam rays in your head and all kind of maggots and stuff, just take yourself out and find Dr. Borky and somebody, skin folks to him that can do it for you. You don't have to take that. You just don't have to fucking take that. I wouldn't care how maternal a person is.
But there's no man to lead. I mean, so they doing everything to get by any means necessary. And that's what I'm saying about predictive programming. Like, these people are predicted to do these type of things, to go these type of routes. I mean, who you going to learn from? Like, you said in
I'm not knocking that. I'm not knocking that at all. I'm just saying that one has to be, there's a lack of strength. You're right, they're weak. There's a lack of strength. I'll give the floor that. But I'll also say this. There was a time, and I'll give you this, and I'll let whoever else wants to chime in on this. This is actually documented if we can go to a spiritual realm. So when Caesar and Nero were invading Hebraic tribes, their communities for not paying taxes, because that's part of what started a lot of what the Carthaginians, who would later give us Hannibal, the warrior. When those kind of things started breaking out, the Maccabees, all those kind of revolutionary outbreaks were happening. It's because people that were in Rome were like, okay, how are these indigenous groups not paying taxes to one another? That was all it was about, was people not having each other in debt. When they explained, well, we don't know what you're referring to in taxes, but if you're referring to debt, we don't have a debt. Because when one person needs something, then we will give them what they have need of, and they fulfill a need that we have, and that's how we're equal, and that's how we maintain balance in our community. Well, Rome didn't like that, specifically Nero, because he was a psychopathic motherfucker. So he said, okay, I've been doing all kinds of crazy shit in the empire of Rome, so I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to pass go on these communities and say that the reason why our system is so off is because these people over here refuse to pay taxes. So when they started invading these groups and taking them into camps and taking them into places where they had to be gladiators and coliseums where they get ate up by wild animals that hadn't been fed for like 7 to 10 days, what began to happen was these people were so in tune with their chakras and their spirituality and their shamanism that when they were even put between 4 horses and torn apart, as they were being torn, they would be like shalom and Islam and love and peace and charity, Zadaka, Zadik. And these Colosseum, attendants were looking at these people like, oh my goodness, even to the break of death, they will not give up who they are, which began a revolution. And that's where the actual seeds of Christianity came from in Greece and Rome, because they were emulating what these tribes from, Ishmael and Yisrael were doing, all these other Hagarite tribes and all these other Hebraic tribes of these ancient cultures were doing and living every day. they begin to say, you know what, I don't know what we're doing, but I want to be more like that. That's what's hot. This is why I want to be hot like that. So again, that ties back into what is woke and what is not, and what's being emulated, what's official and what's unofficial, what's authentic, what's unauthentic, what's the original carbon copy and what's the clone. See what I'm saying? Sometimes you just got to take one for the team, and I don't mean in the mouth or the ass. I mean, you just going to have to cash your ass in because it belongs to a higher power anyway.
Yeah.
Right on. But going back just a tidbit, to what Ben-Urias was saying. I think people just forgot that they have a free will. That their decisions they make in life create the path that they're on. Whether you grow up homeless, or you're rich and you go broke, or you're broke and you go rich, decisions you make along the way in your life, whether you have a parent or not, shape your universe, shape the world you will live in. There's so many worlds to live in nowadays. There's the prostitution world, there's trafficking, there's the drug world, there's mafia world, there's cartel world. There's so many different worlds you can walk around the corner and experience. And I think people just forget that they have a choice.
Absolutely.
Just like you were saying, Skin, like, yo, you want to be rich? Well, come to this casting couch. They forget they can say no. But,
man, I love you guys, because when you said that, I get to thinking, like, you just allow me to be humble, and I feel so bad because I think that's what we're saying so many things the same way, but we're saying different. That's exactly what I was saying about you. Like, if you went platinum tomorrow, you see what I'm saying? How would you really handle that?
Man, heavy is the head, the world's the crown,
Yeah, no doubt. Shit.
Like, my thing is, too, like, we say all these things like, people got free will, but you can just look at society in general. Like, they don't have values. They don't believe in themselves. They don't think highly of themselves. So they vulnerable.
Yeah.
So they are sheep, basically. A lot of these people on social media, they vulnerable. That's why suicide rates are high. That's why divorce rates are high. Because everybody living a lie. Everybody living lives that they don't like, or they don't feel like they can change. So they never had values. They never thought. They never had something to believe in themselves about. And that's why I think that's why it's hard on society in general, because I feel like they using being fake woke to try to make themselves seem more than they really are. But behind
they want to belong to something.
Yeah, they want to belong to something, but they just weak as ever because they don't have values, don't stand for anything. They believe in it. They believe in anything and fall for everything.
Right. Well, and they say, and that's what they say in his. They say if you don't have faith in something, you'll fall for anything. But I'll say this, and I'll just let this tidbit, out on the floor. In a lot of so-called circles that are of higher hypnosis, behind the curtain or stained glass, a lot of that, the requisite for it is you have to have a gnosis of some sort. And I think that that's also another thing that is kind of slap on, if you will, is that no one is truly doing any true soul searching or investigating those kind of things. People just go to YouFool, aka YouTube, and they just believe the first thing that they see. They listen to a bunch of rumors. They listen to a bunch of this and that. No real sources. Like, if you're going to be a journalist, be a journalist. Get reliable sources, for Pete's sake. That's my whole thing. Everybody wants to talk about what this and that is, and did you see that design in the background? That's what that meant. It was a ziggurat. It was a pentagram. It was, oh my God, it was a hexagon. You know what I mean? It's like, it might have been just the design of the motherfucker's T-shirt. Did you ever consider that? Blame it on the person that made the T-shirt, not the person who's wearing it. It's not always that deep, but then sometimes it is that deep, but only that individual can decide that based off of what he or she truly knows to be factual. If you really can't prove it through sources, it's still missed until that point. If you don't have reliable sources that you can speak on, that's why in journalism, they have to get a quote that, can I get you to go with that on the record? Oh, no, So then they have to say an unnameable source or something like this, So this exists throughout the world, and so that kind of is the make or break for me when it comes to fake woke or real woke. I mean, if somebody is real woke, then they'll have reliable sources. Going back to the whole Sinetta thing, like, okay, there's sources there, but then if the person, the host or the producer of the product is not a reliable person themselves, then everything that was real woke becomes taintedly unwoke. You see what I'm saying? So, again, it's just about your sources. We're on a form right now where we can kind of go at it, be from the heart, you know, and tactfulness, kind of put our sources out there and put our information out there for the people to hear. That's one source. Now, when everybody begins to follow suit, if they decide to, there'll be more and more podcasts and more reliable sources, just like with Napster. When people had a demand for music and they didn't want to just buy CD after CD, somebody got a bright idea by the name of Sean Parker. Hey, why don't we just upload our CDs and share stuff? You feel me? And that's the reason why MP3s are here today. So.
And I think what separates us from, like, normal people is people just don't take the time out. People want things right here, right now. They want information right here, right now. So they're not going to do all the research to learn. Yeah. They just going to listen to whoever they think is credible, who's really not. And
that's powerful. Very powerful.
And, you know, it's just like, I think probably most of us got probably 9-to-5 jobs. So when we go to work, you know, we come home, we kind of tired, you know, and you don't feel like doing anything. I think that, you know, back in the old days that people had a lot more time to learn. I think in this generation, even though things are, you know, at our fingertips, we still don't take the time out to do the research ourselves because, you know, we worry about how many likes we get on Instagram. We worry about how many people are adding us on Facebook. You know, it's just a lot of distractions, video games, anything you put your mind on. So I think it's
along the lines of this being a microwave society.
Microwave society, yep.
And that everything that people are used to attaining at this point is instantaneous. And if it's not instantaneous, then they want to move away from it. And
but see, even when you say that, I have to at least say that godly.
In the realm of scholarship, everybody, like the brother said earlier, likes to go to YouTube or likes to go to their favorite master teacher. But nobody wants to sit down and open up a book and deal with etymology or deal with chronology and see what happened in what point of history that led to this event and how this event transpired and led to this event.
And that's why.
But then you got a lot of people questioning really, and that's what makes it hard too, brother, is that my disposition is when someone is actually shown that they have I don't want to say a scholarship as in college, but when they actually have a self-achieved scholarship where they have tons of books in their room or in their book on their bookshelf, then you always have that infiltrator, that blood clot that wants to sit there and just question you with no type of resources themselves. Yeah. They don't have no kind of research material. And then you got so many. We're all ages, but of what? So it's not like somebody. I don't like when people just make everything a conspiracy. Oh, this was a plant, that was a plant. Some people are just ignorant that way. Some people just want to cause confusion.
We got to keep in mind what that person eat don't make you shit. And not to give that motherfucker none of your energy.
Right, absolutely.
If they're not trying to get it, they're not going to get it. You see what I'm saying? The conscious community is full of people who didn't understand Christianity, so they ran to something else to compensate for it. Just jump from one extreme to another.
Right,
and still don't understand the shit.
Let alone themselves.
Like you said, a lot of people don't understand religion in general, like you said, Christianity. No, Islam, Buddhist, like they don't take the time to actually learn to understand like the concepts. They just can't wrap their mind around about something being created, so they just throw it out the window because they can't see it or they don't they just can't fathom the thought. But then they actually go research and line up what the word was teaching us, So they throw out the window. It's not fast enough. It's not exclusive enough. When you read the Bible, it's a lot of parables, man. You gotta break that junk down. If you don't, you will misinterpret some things.
Well, see, and it's funny you say that because I'll take it a step further. One has not to be stuck on one language either, because that can really get us caught up. And I feel like the United States Corporation is really stuck on one form of language. We got other countries speaking 2 and 3 languages. So if we got to go back, I mean, I'm just saying, I come, as Brother Houdini said, I'm Caribbean, but I come from the Spanish side of things, and even I know that Yahushua, a.k.a. Jesus, wasn't a Spanish man. I know that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know that for a fact. Nobody can argue me that unless you just want to go over there and pull out some clone. Then, I can say, okay, this was the clone of the person who they called Jesus. We can walk around and call Houdini Black all day, but he makes it known that his name is Demetrius Reynolds, so he's not going to be offended if you call him Houdini Black, but I'm sure if his family at the dinner table kept calling him Houdini Black all the time, he would begin to start feeling weird about his life. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, man. His mama said, Houdini, can you pass the orange juice? Houdini, come down here and clean the house. Like, Mom, now, why are you calling me? You know that I just do that out there in that world. Call me Demetrius, the name you call me. So why do people get mad when people are like, hey, man, that dude's name would have been something like Yahushua or Yahushua or Jahushua or something like that without a J, because J's were only around for 500 years, Yeah,
like Hebrew is totally different. They try to decipher as much of it as possible, but some words in the Bible just mean different things. Just like hallelujah or worship, like in the Hebrew language.
The Bible is composed of words that mean totally different things. We say Jesus spoke only in parables in the Bible, but how many people know what parable means?
Right.
A parable is a geometric shape.
That's what I'm saying. Let's get deep now. Let's get deep for real. Let's get skeptical.
If Jesus is the Son, of course he only speaks in parables.
You know what I'm saying? Like, people just don't take the time out just to learn. They just want to bash wherever you believe, and they don't even know what they talking about in the get-go. And I get what you're saying, Houdini, where you just don't vibe with them like that. Because I be feeling the same way. I be reading some comments, they be saying some just dumb stuff. I'm like, how do you come to that conclusion? Like, what have you been listening to?
Where are your sources? Where are your research? And when you ask somebody for their sources, I just know it because I do. It's what I feel in my heart. I got my right to my opinion. I'm like, but your opinion ain't got nothing to do with the facts. Where's the facts at? I want facts.
Ben. All right, so... I'm telling him about Illuminati. I'm showing him things on YouTube. Man, get out of here. Get out of here. Nobody.
Oh, you talking about me?
No, our dad, our father. And then now he's trying to show me YouTube videos about the Illuminati.
Oh, wow.
You see that piece? You eat? That's a pyramid. That's a pyramid.
Little Johnny come lately on it, huh?
The skeptical one. Like I was the skeptical one, because, after... Dad thought you were kind of crazy. But after around, he started doing some research, and he started showing me stuff. I'm like, man, what the crap you showing me? I'm like, I don't believe none of that stuff. Man, but I think I started, realizing some stuff after college, man, while I was trying to find myself, trying wonder, what's my mission here? Like, what I'm living for? And so, man, I was just, in a deep thought, I'm a Christian, so I'm seeking God all at the same time. Then when I realized I found my answer that I'm here to help people. I'm here to uplift people. I just have this certain characteristic about myself. I'm always happy. I'm always, laughing. So it helped me find my way. And as I find my way, I just run across things that, just catch my eye through, music, movies. You can ask my brother. I show him stuff all the time, through books. And now I feel like I can't go anywhere without seeing some type of a symbol or some type of meaning. I was like, I don't even be looking for this stuff. It just pop out of nowhere. And I think that a lot of people, the Indians, they do that vision quest, where they seek life. They try to find a meaning of life. And I think a lot of people need to do that. They need to think, they need to look deep down in their heart and say, who am I? Like, what am I doing with my life? How am I helping others? Or how am I, giving back to this world?
Right.
And I think that's the first step of, realizing and waking up to this reality is, when you seek yourself and find out who you really are, then everything else will become more clear.
True that, but like Skin was saying, sometimes there is no conspiracy.
Exactly.
Sometimes the conspiracy is that we think too deep, and all of a sudden everybody's Illuminati, and I'm like, Illuminati is really a scapegoat. that's not even a thing.
It's deeper than that.
Yeah, it's deeper than that. Like, if it was a secret group, you wouldn't know about it.
Well, see, and I say this.
The Illuminati is also bad. It's a fashion now, you know.
Well, see, and I'll give you this. It could be as simple as this. In Spanish, you got dialects. So, like, there's a word like Paco. So in some dialects, Paco means Francis. And other dialects, Paco is partner. And then in other dialects, Paco is the police. So it's like when I say Paco to some Mexicans, they're like, no, my name's not Francis, my name is Jose. I said, no, bro, I mean partner. That's how okay. And then other people look at you like, where is the police at? So even bouncing off of what you just said, in some circles, Illuminati is the fashion. In other circles, you know what I mean, it's a joke on everybody else because they're making the fashion. And then in other circles, it's some OG shit that motherfuckers just can't deal with. You know what I'm saying? But in all circles, you know, it just depends on what circle you're in. I mean, like Sith Lords and Jedi Knights, where the Sith Lords come from, they got the way to the Force. You know, how they do it is right. Then the Jedis, you know, how they do it is right. So, you know, it just all depends on what, like you said, there's so many worlds, cartel world, mafia world, until, like your brother said, he begins to realize that he's at the pinnacle of his Venus consciousness and where he says, I'm here to help people. So, for him being the Christian that he is, I feel like that's the pinnacle of where anybody who proclaims that should be. You should be the best. Even if you're a Satanist, you should be the best Satanist you can be. If Satanism is about drinking blood and chopping up stuff, well, man, you should be at the top of your class when doing that. You see what I'm saying? If you want to be a butcher and sell meat to people at the store, you should be the best butcher there is. But at whatever you're doing, you need to be the best, because half-assing it ain't going to get you nowhere.
Yeah, my life really started to change when I started having a positive vibe and start searching myself, man. Like, my whole life just changed in a blink of an eye. You can ask my brother. Within like 2 years, I got married and I moved off, got a house, man. It's like everything just took off for me. You can ask my brother, you know, where I was at the time, you know, just going to work each and every day, clocking in, clocking out, going home, playing video games. That was my life, man. Until I, started, searching myself. Now I'm well known in my community. I'm a head manager at Hibbits, and, you know, start my own business. You know, everything just started clicking for me when I finally found out who I really was, and my relationship with God too helped, propel me into thinking more positively about people and like actually putting effort into trying to find solutions to help people out instead of just thinking about myself. Cause that's how at that state of not knowing who you are, you really just caring about yourself and not others.
Now, see, brother, if you think about it though, Ben, what you just said is exactly what we said earlier, though, is that even as much as these youngsters are lost, though, they're going for the guts, though. It's just the fact of the matter that they don't have a sense of metaphysics the way that individuals like us might. Because I can truly say that in my journey, I started off in a certain place in so-called religion. But where I'm at now, I feel that I found true religion in the sense that I'm able to understand and understand every aspect to some degree of someone's, so-called religious culture or belief, because I'm looking at it from a universal perspective before I even get involved personally. I'm looking at it as I went to the most ancient sources I could find, just like I gave the example of how the war started with those ancient people, and I said, oh, okay, so their sacrifice for what they, knew was who they were is what won people over from other countries that wasn't even thinking about what they were doing. And then that's how it evolved into a modern day, a way of life all across America. Because in these days and times in modern day America, everybody's got some kind of so-called Christianity which derives from Middle Eastern philosophies and theologies. Mm-hmm. So there it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that people use religion as, as a scapegoat for who they really are. They hide behind a mask. But they not, like I said, they not living a life that they should be living. So they put on the front of being, woke. They think they know scripture. They think they know what people believe and all that type of stuff. When they just, like I said, they just put on the front, and it's causing a downfall within America. Because I feel like that America has stepped way back.
Right.
Nobody. People not even crazy.
This place is a very disrespectful place to people's cultures. Unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah. I hate that. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I used to hang around, like, different cultures, different people. I love it, man. I love, interacting with people from different places. got so many questions to ask, so many things I can learn. And I got good friends from different races, and I never did look down upon them. I always treated them the same. I think that's the problem, with people, living for themselves, that they see the bad, but they never can see the good.
But my favorite saying from individuals like that, one of my favorite sayings, but it hurts me so much, spiritually almost, is when someone says, "Oh no, that's okay, I don't eat pork." "Oh, are you a Muslim?" You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why is that? I mean, I'm not nothing against Islamism, because I'm all about it, but why do I have to be a specific something not to want to eat a pig? I don't understand who thought that up.
It's because people lack scholarship, man. Like my man Chaos said. So all they hear is Muslims being associated with not eating pork.
Absolutely.
They don't do the research to find out.
Absolutely.
It's not just Muslims. It's people of a higher spiritual echelon, man.
No doubt. Yeah. That's what I want to hear somebody say. So when we begin to experience and explore, like Brother Ben and El are speaking of, when we begin to investigate, then that all comes from, like you said, scholarship, self-research, self-exploration. Like Brother Ben was saying, when we can do that it's just like this whole discussion of fake woke reflects to me back on, again, trending stuff. Nobody really is concerned about what the difference between a Chinese and a Japanese person is. Nobody really knows the difference between Japanese karate and Chinese karate. Nobody even knows the difference between what it is to be a samurai as opposed to being a ninja. Nobody even knows where Kung Fu came from. Like, it was mimicking animals. Like, so are you going to tell me that Kung Fu is not authentic because a man watched animals move? Wouldn't that be the most organic way to create a fighting style? But I'm just saying, somebody will come along and tell you, well, that maybe they should have just watched other stuff in the sky and create. So, I mean, you could think of 1,000,001 reasons why someone shouldn't have done something, but what one should be doing is looking about how effective it was. Did it help people? You know what I mean? Did it affect people for a more positive or a more negative way? So when you're saying, but didn't Kung Fu, didn't evil and good people use it, or people fight each other with it? Right. So it was a form of defense, right? And spirituality. And being in tune with the earth and being in tune with the animals, which we're supposed to be in tune with anyway, right?
With nature.
But then again, somebody will tell you, well, there's another whole schism for that. You see what I'm saying? So it really doesn't matter how many facts I guess what I'm saying is, unfortunately, when they're not circles like this, it really doesn't matter how many facts we have. Somebody's going to find a way to get out of. They're going to give you a reason why they had to eat those people, man. Come on, man. I was hungry, man. I had to kill them and eat them, man. They were calling my name, man. It was God's work. They wanted to be eaten, man. That's why they was walking on the sidewalk, man. They wanted me to kidnap them, cut them up, and eat them, man. That's what they wanted. See what I'm saying? So people create their own reality.
Yeah, like women being sexually assaulted. What's going on in today's society now with the Me Too movement? And, it's crazy. A lot of things going on.
Even with that, I'm glad you mentioned that Me Too movement, man, because I was talking to a young sister the other day, man, like, don't get caught up in that Me Too movement because it's eerily striking.
Okay, you're going to have to stop right quick and inform me on what that is. Put your OG up to date. What's the Me Too movement? I'm out of tune.
The Me Too is the new age feminist movement, man, where you got a lot of Caucasian women coming out of the woodworks talking about, oh yeah, we're not standing up for this this male chauvinistic, American chauvinistic attitude. So it's a lot of women coming out the woodworks with allegations over the years of men that have sexually abused them because of their power and whatnot. But at any rate, I was telling the young lady, she was all caught up in this movement, like, women are finally getting the recognition that they need as far as the respect that they owed and whatnot. And I'm like, look, man, it don't take a movement for a woman to stand up for herself. This whole thing reminds me of the feminist movement of the 60s when the Black Panther Party and other groups of social consciousness, real social consciousness, that were putting in the work to protect their neighborhoods, it was offset with the feminist movement. So now you got these white women coming into the black community telling the black women, look, girl, you don't need him. This how you can be independent and do this without him. It's the same thing, man. They just put a different twist on it and got women emotionally involved with it in the sense of, okay, we're going to take it to another level and say, hey, did somebody mistreat you some type of way, or whatever the situation may be. And it just turned into something totally different from what it originally started out as. So
Keyword, what did you just say, though, brother? Bring that back. What did you just say? Say, it's what, though? What are they using? What is it? What kind of a thing is it that they're using, that they're dwelling on?
It's like a counter-resistance, man. Oh, okay.
Emotion. That's what we spoke about. And that's what I was saying. Again, what you're bringing to the table is logic. See what I'm saying? That's what our world is. Our country specifically is lacking. It's a form. I'm not going to say whose logic. I'm just going to say logic in general. Because if you throw a rock in the air and it's straight up, and you don't move, then you have to use your common sense to say, hey, this rock might actually hit me in the head. You see what I'm saying? Because I threw it up in the air. I didn't throw it specific like at anybody. And I think that's what's lacking, is that even when it came back to like the young brothers, what the brothers talking about as far as the artists, and and them not having the just microwave society. I want to also say, when we're moving at God's speed, I think that in every era that the mechanism of the gods have been activated, whether it was slow and the seasons changed from fall, winter, spring, and summer, or however you want to say it, and then now we're getting to the point to where there's so many natural disasters, and then we're going into a mode to where it used to take a year for a whole album to come out. They milked it with one video. Now you got 10 mixtapes and then an album. You got all these different modes of movement. You see what I'm saying? And it's a matter of not what is moving in the industry, but how the people themselves are moving. What are their minds? What is it that the industry is capitalizing on mentally that allows an individual to download this dude's tape 14 times, or this person decided to get every mixtape this dude dropped last month? He dropped 20 mixtapes, and the dude went after all 20 of them. What in the mind of the people is the industry able to capitalize on without MK Ultra? That's what we have to investigate within ourselves. What are the schisms and isms in us that make us do what we do? Like I said, when the men said, "Oh, I had to eat them," they wanted to be eaten. Well, what told you that this person wanted you to kidnap them, chop them up, and make some saute, steak out to dudes? You know what I'm saying? So again, it's kind of more of a self-evaluation and a self-exploration. So then we can better reflect when we do come into contact with people who are off like that, more emotionally driven than logically driven. I mean, and some people are not going to get out their emotions for anything, because that's all they know. Like I told somebody before, some people are just prone to argue. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be about bacon. Hey, man, like bacon is wrong. You know what I'm saying? You got to bake it till it's dark. You know what I'm saying? It's not cooked till it's black. You know what I'm saying? And you can tell this person all that. Well, that's when the carbon begins to come up out of it, and it's reaching a point of no flavor. And no. Delicacy is based off of how dark the stuff is. I had an aunt. All she did was burn her food. Toast, meat, everything. Now, scientifically, carbon is good for us to a point. But then again, if you're focused on flavor, you're probably not going to have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Science and everything. We just got to know what parts of science we want.
Right on.
Yeah, I guess it comes down to spirituality too.
Right. But even spirituality is in there with science. People try to say it's not, because they get too technical. They get more into their feelings again. They don't want to just tell you, okay, metaphysics and all these things for thousands of years have been used by the shaman man or the medicine doctor in the rainforest that show you all kind of things. They said that's why people aren't going to the Bermuda Triangle anymore. People ain't want to go over there because Amelia Earhart disappeared over there. They ain't seen her since. So like, you know what? We're just not going to kayak over there. Just let it be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Even the Bible is a book talking about biochemistry.
Absolutely. And biometry.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, a lot of people science and religion don't go hand in hand, but it really does, though.
Say that again now. I didn't hear what the brother said.
I said a lot of people don't believe science and religion go hand in hand. It doesn't go hand in hand, but it really does.
Well, I want to go in depth on that just for like 1 minute and say, you got the Torah in there, though. You got 5 books before you even get to the letters. So that's a way of life. I mean, I try not to go there, but I have to put that out there, that before the Biblios existed, they were scrolls. They were scrolls. You didn't have men back here saying, chapter 1, verse of anything. They had to know the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? That's where scholarship really began. You're going to sit up in here and read these scrolls right fast and get this work. Now go ahead and read that back to us. And people were living like this. People were living this day by day. Now they just like, oh, yeah, I read that book. It's a good read. You know, it's sold 1 million copies. Like, this ain't no record. You know what I'm saying? This ain't no album. You made it sound like Prince wrote it or something. You know what I'm saying? You know? Well, Prince is a Christian. That don't have nothing to do with it, man. They don't have, see what I'm saying? See how I just twisted that? Well, Prince is a Christian and he believes in it. But what does that have to do with the lifestyle that it talks about? But, you know, Prince is a this and a that. You know, people will take it and shift it on one thing as opposed to making it universal. The scriptures are universal for people who want to read it and live the lifestyle, if they but can do that. You know what I'm saying? And the introduction to that is knowing where it stems from. So if one can't go back to, you know, Pangea or these particular areas in Middle East and what we call Africa where things were going on, I don't think people will be in tune with it as well because, you know, people are so used to what the media wants to paint. I mean, come on now. When you see a picture of a man that looks like he comes from Spain, he's got reddish brown hair, I mean, it's going to be kind of hard to relate, you know, in everybody. You know, then you get radicalism, which is causes Cassius Clay to want to be Muhammad Ali. I mean, hell, if he'd have had a good picture or a good explanation, he probably would have read the Bible more. You see what I'm saying? He would have understood that it's Islamic and it's Hebraic. He would have realized that. But he didn't realize that till way later because information was held back and restricted from specific archetypes of people back then. And when we pay attention to that, we'll better feel comfortable about realizing why there's such controversy in those circles. You have a group called the Universal Movement where there was a brother who was, I believe he was Korean, Sun Myung Moon, and he was part of what was called the Unification Movement, where he taught the disciples in his brain to, you know, intertwine and mix, like, let's destroy racism. Well, when he began to pass, long story short, before he passed away, he said, I don't want anyone to erect anything after me in my name. He says, just remember what I spoke of with the scriptures and how radical I was, and keep it in your heart. Do you think they honored that man? Nope. As soon as he died and transcended, they turned around and started erecting stuff in this man's name. My grandma told them to bury me in a pine box when I passed. Did they listen to her? No, they didn't put her in a pine box. They put her in something where they can't even find her out there on the line now because she don't have a tombstone. So when our elders speak, man, men of higher self, we sometimes just don't want to listen. Our ancestors are there for us if we will but tune out and tune in. And that's society's issue right now. They're so wrapped in emotional, self-emotional worth or otherwise, they can't even hear the voice of their elders before them.
True.
Right on. Well, guys, we have about 9 minutes left. I think we should pick this topic up again, but maybe go into more science and religion. Oh, yeah, that'd be fun. Oh, yeah. Great. Well, you guys have definitely been a pleasure. You know, take me out of, I mean, being in the music thing is one thing, and dealing with those industry heads is a whole nother level. But when you can just come to the table and sit down with brothers, and like one of you brothers was saying, I don't remember who it was, but you know, we got away from being able to communicate on a humble person-to-person level. Men especially, this really invigorates me for us men, heterosexual men, to be able to come there and talk about it, not have to worry about somebody saying, oh, so you have a problem with gay people? Oh, you have a problem with transsexual people? You know, and it's turned into a fiasco about stuff that has nothing to do about the subject matter. You know, it's a big ploy to distract people from things that other people want to hear.
Yep. Great point.
Right on.
So true.
Gotta be careful, though, man. I'm not holding no girl's hand. You ain't finna me too me. Keep my hand in my Say it one more time. You said you ain't holding what? I said, I'm not holding no girl's hand. I'll keep my hand in my pocket. She ain't finna me too me.
Yeah, you can't open doors.
Yeah. Hey, I tell you what, man, it's sad when you get to go to the bars and you drinking and you see a pretty girl, then she wants to take you to the Scientology temple. You're like, wait a minute, I thought we was going to the hotel. Oh, no, this is my hotel. Man, sheesh. No, nothing against Scientologists. I'm just joking. No, don't get mad at me. It was just a joke. No, you know. They the new Jehovah's Witnesses, though. They come and get you, man. They gonna give you that work. You gonna learn. You gonna find out what Tom Cruise is talking about. If they got anything to say about it. What'd you say?
I said, yes, Scientology.
Yeah, they gonna let you know. Forrest Whitaker gonna be waiting on you too. He gonna let you know, man. He gonna give you this work vantage point. Yeah. And who else was it? Isaac Hayes? Who is the man? He's going to be playing right in the background. They're going to have that music playing. I think, and that's so crazy, man, because we don't even realize just how many different tangents that, you know, people that we look up to in the industry was a part of. And that's, again, what I was saying. You never know what circle it is till you know what circle it is. You know, like Houdini was saying, some people wearing this is just a straight fashion. You know, you look on TV, oh, wait, I thought it was a Taco Bell commercial. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's just hard to tell, man. It's just all about who you're running with at the time. You know, some people say Bone Thugs was the most evilest group since NWA. Others is like, yo, Bone saved my life. You know, it just all matters on who you talk to.
Right. It's funny you mentioned that Taco Bell. They had that Illuminati commercial. See how it's just all funny.
Oh, yeah.
But that's what I'm saying, like, again, not to get too deep, but I'm just saying it's all about who you run with, because some people say that Bloods and Crips were the most evilest thing ever created. But people who know that that's not true, Bloods and Crips. You know, some people say that. You know what I mean? Some people say it's the most evil thing ever that happened in the United States of America in the 80s. You know what I mean? But, I mean, people who know what it started out to be and what it was for and what happened. You know what I'm saying? It's just like if nobody knows anything about those kind of things, it's just really hard to say what is and what isn't. But when you get a reliable source, you have to also take into consideration that source is only reliable to the extent of their source and what they were doing with it. I mean, if you talk to Jeffrey Dahmer's people, I'm sure they can tell you a lot about him that, you know, the average person would know. Me, myself, I dated a sister that stayed out there in that area. And he said, yeah, he really did bring crock pots of food to the block parties. What they didn't know was they was eating their next door neighbors. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? That's what they did know. And that's the female I dated. So I'm a source. I'm putting that on the record. That I dated a female that stayed in Milwaukee in those projects. And that really happened. So you never know who you're talking to.
Wow.
Yeah. I bet what they twice before we eat neck bones from somebody that won't we?
Yeah, I actually heard a story like that too. This serial killer, he owned a hamburger food truck, and he would serve his victims to like random customers stopping at his food truck.
Wow.
So they call him.
Where was this at? Was this in your city?
Nah, it was something. I listened to this podcast. I listened to about serial killers podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I listened there, and they talk about this one guy. I think they call him the Butcher, but he'll kill his victims, then sell them hamburgers to the people that stopped at his food truck. And
so he was making them he was making hamburgers out of.
Yeah.
Wow. So he said, I'm gonna be my own McDonald's. I'm gonna do my own thing. I'm just playing, y'all. It's just a joke, just a parody, MC. No shade on Houdini show. We're just joking. It's Ronald McDonald. You know, Ronald McDonald, just a parody. It's just a parody.
How you doing, Ben? Are you taking notes?
What'd you say?
He's listening to serial killer shows. Yeah, what are you taking notes, man?
I be researching. Man, I be at work, man.
What you researching for?
Everything.
You got a project going on I don't know about?
Hey, man, you better leave him alone before you make him mad and he go by somebody's crib and get him, man. Don't be pushing your brother around like that. That bully son creates serial killers.
That'd be a Dini burger.
I'm saying you can't be bullying your brother like that. He's watching podcasts with serial killers. He gonna set him off like the show, man. He gonna be robbing banks and chopping up folks, man. Playing These Are the Days of Our Lives in the background as the soundtrack.
Man, the one that really crazy I listen to is called Cult. They talk about different religions. Man, them people be doing some crazy stuff. How they be?
What's it called?
Cult. They talk about different.
Oh yeah. Well, y'all know. Now I will go on the record as saying this because this is already put out there right fast. Now you know the son of Sam. They actually cleared him of a few of those murders because he came out and said he was part of a circle, and they had him doing that. But there were other people that were committing those murders.
Dang.
That went on the record, so you guys Google that. He had finally did a documentary where he said it wasn't just him. Yep.
Wow.
That whole time.
Man.
Yep.
When you just
Makes
think
sense
about
now.
When you think about stuff like this, like, man, there's people out here actually doing stuff like this, having cults, murdering people, doing crazy,
Well, we're having the highest so-called day of that, man. There's going to be a lot of children disappearing, man, unfortunately.
Man,
look, Most High bless the children.
I'm doing research on that. How y'all already just looked up the stats on missing kids in America?
Yeah. It's one of the highest things. One of the highest.
I'm thinking to myself, where are these kids at? Where are they disappearing to? What, like,
man, that's crazy what y'all talking about, man. It's crazy because a lot of this stuff is talking points that's swept under the rug because a lot of these different issues and concerns that we talking about, the hiding factor behind them is the fact that they generate so much money, man. Like the human trafficking industry, that's $1 billion industry, man. It's slowly replacing identity theft as the number one crime, in the world. So when you look at human trafficking under the microscope, you see that it's so many other crimes associated with this one crime. It's so many other industries associated with it, and the illegal immigration situation is one of them. That child pornography,
it's on the rise.
labor laws, harvesting organs. I mean, you name it, man.
Like, what's so crazy? You brought child pornography. I listened to this podcast, and they were talking about how they trying to like make child pornography like a mental issue. Like they trying to make pedos like it's something wrong with them. Like it's just how gay people like another opposite sex, the same sex. So they trying to make it seem like it's just something that they born with. The pedophiles are born with.
Yeah, they're trying to say that it's an alternative lifestyle that I want to be with a little kid. Come on with the jokes, man.
It blew my mind.
Come on with. I wish you would try to get with a little skinny bone. I'm about to show you what this is really about. Now you're gonna see why I run with Bone Thugs for real. We gonna really take it back to East 1999 on that ass. Down 71, bitch. I wish you would. Now they can quote me on that. You touch any child around me you want to, talking about it's an alternative lifestyle. I will show you an alternative lifestyle, all right.
Hey, I want to try to post a link. Of the woman speaking, and I promise you, it will blow your mind. Like my mouth literally dropped. Like, how can y'all try to make this seem like it's normal? Like,
oh yeah, I saw that video clip. That pissed me off. She was trying to say that people should accept pedophiles. I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, don't get me wrong, man. I'm just saying now I'm saying no parents have the right to do that, but I can't go into individuals' households telling them how to live. But when you get to trying to spread that to people that ain't even thinking that direction, that's the same as somebody who's homosexual trying to tell me I should like a dude and want to date him and stuff. I'm like, listen, player, I get how you feel, but I'm not, that has to stop where it's at. I'm not going to bash you. But you not about to pull me into some stuff I ain't signed up for.
Yeah, I ain't down with that, but bro.
Right, we can go out. I'll drink out of my cup. You drink out of yours at the bar, and if we get in a bar fight together, and
I think he got disconnected.
Oh, okay, all right. Did I get disconnected?
Nah.
Yeah, I was like, what happened?
I was like, wait a minute. So that wasn't the end.
But yeah, like you're saying though, bro, like they don't legit issue. Like it's ain't a big issue. It's a legit issue about for child pornography. And how you notice that so many people are getting arrested in the news on this junk?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like it's blowing my mind how many people are actually into this thing.
Must be something in the water.
Man, hey, bro, no lie, chemicals, hormones. I really think they doing something like.
But see, all of this, what we talking about, all of this information that we just discussed, there's nothing but this lower level frequency, trying to get all the higher frequencies to tune in to their frequency, because we got a paradigm shift that we experiencing right now. So we the energy is transforming right now, and that's why we saying about true scholarship is very important right now, man, because you can't open those doorways with no fake keys. You know what I'm saying? That's when the reality of what we talking about is gonna really hit the fan, man. When it's time for you to unlock that Rubik's Cube and walk through that door, you know what I'm saying? Like my man was saying about the parable, meaning the geometric shape. It's a lot of things that needs to be deciphered when it's talking about this higher knowledge, man. And we just not there yet. But at the same time, it's good that we're not there yet, because you see all of these different distractions trying to prevent you from getting there, so you know you close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we worrying about which team LeBron signed with instead of worrying about the real issues, you know.
Yeah, I mean, anything outside of self that's not pointing to the inside for you to unlock this mystical power within yourself, I mean, that for lack of a better word, is a distraction.
Yeah, it is, and I think with all this time of age is built on distractions. You know, I always keep my phone silent. People get mad at me because I keep my phone silent, but when I'm doing something, I want to be tuned in to what I'm doing. I don't want to be distracted. I don't want, you know, I try, man, I get away from like electronics. I just try to put myself away from that, because, you know, there's so many things in the world that can distract us now. And back in the day, you didn't really have all these technologies, and so, you know, I said technology can be a good thing and bad thing, because like I said, I'm a manager at a sports store, and I allow my workers to have phones, but at the same time, I can see them, their work dipping off because they are on their phone or doing something or not paying attention to a certain project. So it made me wonder, like, man, maybe I should ban phones, because it's taking away from their work. It's taking away from, you know, them being the best they can be at the work.
Definitely. I mean, if you look at the whole Atlantean thing, they said the reason Atlanta sank because they became too dependent on their technology, even though it was highly sophisticated.
Imagine The Walking Dead now. A lot of people be screwed. For real. They wouldn't know what to do. Most people only have like flashlights in their houses and stuff, and backup generators. None essentials. You know, a lot of people people use their phones for flashlights. So you know what I'm saying? Like they don't know how to survive.
So I mean, listen, man, we got medicine growing in our front yard and we don't even know about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it was a doctor. I forgot his name, but it was an African doctor that said he found a cure for cancer through herbs and all that type of stuff. I can't remember his name, but there was a big conspiracy theory that he was killed by the CIA or FBI.
Dr. Sebi. That's the same doctor that left out, went to the Honduras to see when she crashed and died, quote unquote.
Really? I did not know that. I actually listened to her about a podcast on her about 2 weeks ago, and that was my first time actually hearing the story of, you know, how she died and what actually happened. And I didn't know that she was on her way to, to see him or in that same country as him.
She had actually been dealing with Dr. Sebi. And, he had, the science with Dr. Sebi was he was working to make the body electrically fit, you know what I mean, via the alkaline diet. You know what I'm saying? And Lisa Left Eye she had went through some extensive treatments with him. You know what I mean? And basically all he did was change the diet. But she had been dealing with him for a while, and she was reaping some of the benefits from her new lifestyle, and she was trying to get the entire industry, the whole entertainment industry, put under Dr. Sebi. Just to, put that out there, just think about the message that would have been coming from the music had that shit would have went down.
So do you think they took her out? Somebody took her out? Cause they said she crashed. She died in a car accident. She something about, I don't think she fell asleep at the wheel, but they said she had a prior incident where she hit a boy or hit a child, and they rushed her to the hospital, but he died on the way there, and she was traumatized by it. And and they said I think the next day she was still kind of messed up, and she crashed a vehicle later on that night.
Now,
Wow.
Now, with that being said, because I didn't know anything about that. But with that being said,
she hit a child, and the whole episode traumatized her because the boy died in her arms while they was trying to rush him to the hospital. She was with somebody else, of course, so I don't know if she was driving or not. But they hit a child, and they were trying to rush him to the hospital. But he died, in their arms on the way to the hospital.
Yeah. Man, that almost sound like, they probably couldn't get it the first time, so they doubled back.
Yeah, they came back. Like, when you said about the doctor that she was seeing, I was like, wow, that sure is a coincidence that she just so happened to have an accident because she was traumatized somehow by, hitting a boy. So, I don't know, maybe they pulling our legs a little bit.
All right, guys, I think we should wrap this up, maybe do a part 2 and explore some more topics. I appreciate everybody.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, I appreciate everybody for tuning in to Skeptix. Our live audience, as well as our, I don't want to say panelists, but our special guests. Our very, very special guest of honor was my dude Chaos for being on the show today. Also, special thanks to Yohanan-Rael, Skin and Bones, Pagosi, and Ben-Urias for being participants as well. Any final thoughts?
I think there was a good discussion about, just, being awakened to the things around us, our own spiritual self, and not getting distracted by things around us and getting fooled about what's being put out in the mainstream or by the government or just listening to people in general. It's about just finding our own self and looking at information and stuff and just taking an easy way out and looking at 5-minute YouTube videos. It's all about, reading and, and studying and gaining knowledge. That's the only way where you can learn and grow for yourself and be able to see things that, other people might not be able to see.
Definitely.
I think it's important to push the boundaries. We far too many times throughout our days get comfortable and pacified with our positions, with our social statuses, with our scholarship, with our knowledge of ourselves. Growth is a very uncomfortable process, and it's a painful process. But it's the only process that we're here for. I think it's important to keep in mind that if we're not striving for something greater than what we currently have, then all we're truly doing is wasting our time.
Right on.
Amen to that.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of what he was saying earlier, man, about whatever it is you're going to do in life, just make sure you do it the best of your ability. And that's kind of true. So I believe that's what I ended on, man. Like we saying, we piggybacking off of getting ready for this seminar on Know Thyself, man. And that's what it all boils down to, is just having some discernment with yourself as far as your own personal growth. Like he's saying, being able to admit when you need to do the work that you need to do and just pushing forward.
Definitely. All right, guys. Well, if there's no further discussion, I guess we shall end it here. Like I said, it was a pleasure having you guys on. We have to do it again, of course.
Absolutely. All right, you know I'm down, man. Just holler at me, bro.
Yes, sir.
All right, peace to y'all boys, man.
Peace.
Awesome dogs, man.
All right, guys. Have a good night. Y'all take it easy now.
Thank you, my Vigilantes family, as always, for checking out my podcast over here at Vigilantes Radio. All episodes are available for free download, and you can grab that from either Spreaker.com/only1mediagroup, iTunes, YouTube, any app that's on a Google Play or iTunes store, or our website. And that goes from every single episode that we've ever aired. If you'd like to request music or a particular guest or send something for me to play, email it to theradio@only1mediagroup.com. If it's music, please label it by artist and title. Here's my disclaimer. We are genre free, we do not judge, and we absolutely do not base our opinions on hearsay but facts alone. And actually, you can scratch all of that because all of my opinions are always right. That's the bottom line. This is my show, so deal with it. Nah, just kidding. On behalf of myself, Dini-Mussolini, I appreciate all you guys for tuning in, either afterwards or live with us. Spread the word because sharing is caring. We stepped up our game just for you guys and our guests to make sure that you have the best experience here on our show. Be sure to connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, as well as Spreaker. We always follow back. That is the number one rule. Okay, well, just remember to be yourself and be absolutely great at just doing that. Avoid being too comfortable because you're messing with your potential when you do that. Peace and have a good night.
You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, the people's choice for quality interviews, art, music, and hot topics. Hosted by Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds of the duo No Longer the Hero. All episodes of this podcast are available for free download at www.only1mediagroup.com. This is a Seventh Sign Regime Rebirth Worldwide Syndicate exclusive.